Hi, I'm Enchanting Nubianette. Welcome back. And if you're viewing my channel for the very first time, welcome. Today I'm going to share a well-known case that happened in July 2022. This case is involving Shanteari Young, formerly Mrs. Weems, a daycare owner in Baltimore County, Maryland, who fired her weapon at her husband. This was after discovering that James Weems not allegedly, molested children at her daycare. So now Miss Young has been released from jail and she served most of the time in jail, which was about 75%. Presently, she's living in a halfway house located in Washington, D.C., and she's there, I believe, until December. So here is a factual timeline. In On July 21st, 2022, Shanteari Young, then 50 years old, she learned that her husband, James Weems, a former Baltimore police officer, well, he was retired. He was working at their daycare. He was accused of sexually abusing multiple children. So the daycare center was Little Kids Castle, which was located in Owens Mills, Maryland. And James Weems was the van driver. He was responsible for picking up and dropping off those children. That derelict had too much access to the kids. Well, she confronted him at a hotel in Washington, D.C. over allegations of harming kids. It was a parent who told her the information. So then, former Mrs. Weems opened fire at him twice, hitting him in the neck and the leg, and he survived. In March 2023, she pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and having an illegal firearm, so the illegal firearm possession. And she was sentenced by a judge to 4 years in prison. It was twice the time of what prosecutors had originally recommended. I mean, whose side was the judge on? Seems like the judge was more sympathetic to the abuser, James Weems. Now I know her actions were wrong according to the law, but I believe Shanteari Young was so enraged over her then husband's actions because Mr. Weems was a retired officer of the law who actually assaulted daycare participants, these innocent children. Now, one of the abused was a young girl, only 10 years old. She was a victim of this vile retired police officer for a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but due to her courage, this child gave details of the illegal sexual assault that occurred in the daycare van. Former police officer James Weems' actions caused detrimental harm to this girl forever. Everyone just imagine the abuse that he did to maybe many adults and even underage children when he was at work or when he was in his work uniform throughout the years as a police officer. Now, these children, they all have mental, emotional, and even spiritual trauma. Their memories of being violated and manipulated by a grown man will never go away. And just imagine how much remorse Miss Young and the children's parents have for even having their children in his presence and having to deal with the aftermath of this horrific crimes. As an adult who was in charge of the girl's welfare, typical anger, shock, and disappointed hindered her ability to think rationally at that moment. So this is when she sought to harm her former husband. She wanted blatant revenge. She flipped in that second or few seconds. And as I mentioned earlier, Shanteari Weems released her weapon twice, but miraculously, she did not unalive him. Mr. Weems was aggressive towards the children, so Miss Young was aggressive toward him. Shantari Young has expressed remorse for her actions, but maintained that she opened fire on him to protect the children. And Miss Young said she wouldn't apologize to her husband. I don't blame her. After all, James Weems betrayed her. He caused children to be harmed, to go through an awful experience. And he also caused Little Kids Castle Daycare to be shut down due to the criminal investigation. Miss Young placed years of hard work into her business, and now it's closed because of him. This woman has received an overwhelming amount of community support, and she is well loved in Maryland and all around the world, especially because her heart was for the children she took care of. Obviously, she had no idea of the wicked actions of her then husband. Well, her husband was married to a woman who he made vows to before God. It's terrible if Mr. Weems cheated with another adult or a woman, but for a grown man, especially a retired officer, to turn towards a child is unforgivable. Miss Young testified against her ex-husband in court, and her ex-husband, former officer James Weems, faced separate charges of 33 counts of child sexual abuse. He's convicted of the R word, sexual abuse, and was sentenced to life in prison since 2024. Justice is served as long as no one gives him preferential treatment because of his previous role as a police officer. And I applaud Ms. Shantari Young for considering the information given to her by the parents against her former husband. So happy she wasn't in denial when the child shared all of the inappropriate acts. She believed the girl and stopped the abuse. Everyone, thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Stay safe wherever you are.